The voice of sharing during ASEAN.
Morning, this is Arlene.
Good morning, everyone. This is Gowri.
And today we would like to extend our heartfelt condolences to the 298 passengers and crew members abroad, family and friends from during ASEAN.
And in line with that, we'd like to start our ASEAN breakfast call by observing a moment of silence to remember everyone who is affected in this very tragic incident.
This is Arlene.
This is Gowri.
We are back again at during ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing. Today in our news commentary, we will start our news today with the MH17 as DBKL orders entertainment outlets to stop all entertainment activities for 24 hours.
And owners of entertainment outlets in the city have received an order from Kuala Lumpur City Hall to stop all entertainment activities for 24 hours from 7 a.m. on Friday as a mark of respect to the victims of MH17 tragedy. And the notice also said that the outlets which did not adhere to the order would be penalized under the Entertainment Act WPKL 1992. However, many establishments, of course, claimed that this was an unfair order on DBKL's part.
So after 37 days of waiting, finally the remains of MH17 victims will be returning to their family members today. And just to inform you all that National Day of Mourning will be held at the KLIA, and with the Prime Minister of Malaysia attending. And we at Duran ASEAN definitely we would like to extend our heartfelt condolences to the passengers and crew members abroad on the MH17.
And I think the whole nation today is observing this National Mourning Day by wearing black, by also a lot of outlets, organizations. Even there was a picture of a car wash place this morning where they decorated the whole place with flags of Malaysia and also drawings of the plane. And everyone is actively participating in this, which is a very good sign that everyone is coming together for this National Mourning Day to pay their respects and offer their thoughts and prayers for all the affected families.
In fact, a lot of the countries, especially Malaysia, will be flying their flag at half-mast today, and this would include countries like Japan as well, and other countries that fell victim to the MH17.
So, going back to our news, there's been a lot of protests from all these entertainment outlets that they do not really want to adhere to this new order by DBKL. They refuse to stop all the activities for 24 hours. They said that we could encourage our customers to wear black as a mark of respect, but it's not right to just make us stop everything because this is an ongoing business that we do every day.
Well, to me, it depends on. It's a very tricky question because at the same time, you want the whole nation to pay respect or pay their condolences to all the victims and crew members. But I think, to certain extent, these entertainment outlets did make a sound remark in a way that, you know, business goes as usual in any way. But at the same time, if you ask me my personal view, I think just for this one day to pay our condolences, it would not be that much of a difference if the entertainment outlets open its for business or not during that day.
But I think that maybe 24 hours is a bit too much. Maybe if it's 1 or 2 hours, they will
in
be
the
totally
morning.
like what we read in the paper yesterday when they said everyone is observing an hour of silence from 10:30 to 11:30 in the morning. So something like that would be totally okay. It's totally practical, but to shut down for 24 hours, I do think that is a little impractical.
But it seems like the way the country is mourning for the victims of MH17 seems to be a bit on the religious side. I'm at the Facebook page of Najib Razak, and what I can see is, besides Najib encouraging all Malaysians to fly their flag at half mast, what I can see as well is he informed everyone that every person should be wearing colors that is not too bold or too bright.
Yes, and in line with that.
And in line with that, besides that, also every TV channels and radio will be replaced with Quran recitation and other programs that have religious messages. So it seems like the way our country is observing the mourning seems to be on the religious side. I'm not sure because of the majority Muslim population or because it's the most appropriate way to do it.
It would be because of Islam being a majority religion in this country, and it's definitely probably the most convenient way to do it as well, because even when you attend any official events, they always start it off by having a prayer in the Islam way, and I think it really doesn't matter which religion they're using or what. The important thing here is that everyone is coming together today. They're standing united as a nation, offering all their prayers and thoughts regardless of what race they are, what religion they are, and that is the most beautiful thing about today.
This may not be the right time to talk about this, but I think a lot of the people are also forgetting about the MH370, which happened barely a few months after the MH17, and I think the National Day of Mourning should be for both MH17 and MH370.
Actually, I thought it was meant for both because from the article that I read, the National Mourning Day was for both MH17 and 370, but it's being more focused on MH17 because the bodies are actually being brought back, whereas for MH370, we haven't discovered any bodies yet, which is why it's not being highlighted as much as MH17.
And I think people, victims from the MH370 are also very much desperate for answer, you know.
Definitely, especially now that the bodies from the other plane is coming back. I'm sure the families of the MH370 victims are also wishing for the same thing. They wish they could have their loved ones back at home and give them a proper burial and have a proper mourning period. But unfortunately, that is not happening yet, and I'm sure the investigations are still ongoing. As I read from Dr. Hishamuddin's Twitter account this morning, he said he wished he could do something about it, but he is trying his best. He's giving it his all. The efforts, investigations are ongoing, but
it was our first time, as a nation, to face such international scale of accident. And I think it is a learning process for our government as well as for all Malaysians how to react. And from what I heard during the MH370, the government learned a lot on how to do disaster risk reduction and all these other risk reduction activities in order for all the information and processes to be run smoothly in the future.
And also, I am wishing for the best. I hope that we will not have to face another tragedy like this too. Is more than enough. In just the first quarter, I think, of the year, we were engulfed by these two very devastating piece of news, and hopefully nothing like this happens anymore. And yeah, so everyone is offering their condolences and respect today, which is a great thing. And I hope that everyone will actively participate, and I hope that the families of all these victims know that our thoughts and prayers are always with them.
Mm-hmm. And just to recap back what will be happening today at KLIA, 16 bodies, which is 15 Malaysians and 1 foreigner, will be expected to arrive in KLIA via a special Boeing 747 flight at 10 a.m. At 10 a.m., which is about another 2 hours from now, and it will be at the Bunga Raya complex in KLIA. And from what I heard, the road leading towards the complex or KLIA will be massively jammed. So for those who are using the road leading towards KLIA, just be mindful of that. The next news of today, we have a news about Bangladeshi workers. So remains of Bangladeshi workers to be flown back today. This is in regards with the MRT incident a few days ago.
That's right, and this is another tragedy for Bangladesh because these workers came here in pursuit of a better job, a better life, but it was unfortunately short-lived by this another tragedy that happened just a few days back, and this 300 ton of concrete fell on them, and they died in quite a brutal way, and their bodies will be...
At first, it was thought that they were missing. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were trapped inside the whole whatever structure that they were building. But at the end of the day, they realized that, I mean, the people around there realized that they were trapped and they were buried alive and died on Monday.
The families of these 3 people have been informed by the Malaysian government, and they are also working very closely with the Bangladeshi embassy just to make sure that the whole process is smooth, that these bodies are brought back, and to be made sure that the bodies actually reach the family, because they are waiting to give them a proper burial and to send them off.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the way the government handles the Bangladesh worker?
I think they have been pretty smooth. They have a standard operating procedure, and they immediately contact the families to let them know. They didn't try to hide it or conceal it. They were honest about it, saying that, okay, this your family member died in this tragedy, and we're sorry, and we'll try to do anything that we can to help. But the thing is, they died, and
some more is been highlighted vastly in the Malaysian news. So the government needs to do something. And one of the move that the MRT Corp chief executive officer did was to resign. So the Mass Rapid Transit Corporation Sdn Bhd, or short for MRT Corp, Datuk Wira Azhar Abdul Hamid, which is the CEO of the MRT, had tendered his resignation, and this has caused very interesting reaction by Malaysians, because I don't think it is a common practice by Malaysians to, especially Malaysian leaders, to resign out of like a mishap or an incident that has caused a lot of damage. So it's something to be I don't know, something interesting developing here.
Yeah, and I think we did talk about this 2 days ago as well, where we were also expressing our admiration for him, that it's good that he actually took up the responsibility instead of dodging it or playing the blame game. He stepped up and said, I'm responsible for this, I'm going to step down. But that doesn't mean that, I'm just going to wash my hands off. I'm still going to make sure that the investigation is carried out thoroughly and we find out what really happened and prevent any further such tragedy from happening.
Let me read a few of the Twitter messages by netizens who, when he decided to resign. One of it is, Malaysia history is created. This is a developed country culture. Accept responsibilities. And another one is joking around saying MRT chief should resign. He actually did. Wow, should be commended for that. #respect. And another one which is also interesting, glad that MRT CEO did the right thing, resign and take responsibility for death of 3 Bangladeshi workers. Deepest condolences to family and friends of the victim. And this was actually a Twitter message by Maria Chin Abdullah of the Bersih 2.0.
So it seems that most people are impressed by his decision to step down, and they are happy that the country is moving forward in a way, especially when people actually start admitting their mistakes and trying to rectify it as opposed to just dodging the responsibility.
In Thailand, interesting development is happening now.
Very interesting. I think we just talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, I was actually reading it yesterday and last 2 days ago. I didn't actually believe the news when I read the third news of today, which is the army chief named Prime Minister.
I was equally as shocked and surprised as you, because it was just a nomination, it was a suggestion, and I thought it would probably take a few weeks or maybe even a few months, of debate, of getting feedback from the people before it materializes. But then it just happened the very next day. I was reading it and wait, this cannot be right. Is he already installed as the new prime minister? And turns out he is. And he's also, what's interesting about it is he was appointed by the junta-picked National Assembly. So it was picked
That is the democracy that Thailand did not expect, I guess.
Yeah, and it's interesting how he picked his own National Assembly and then they in turn nominated him to be a prime minister. It's like a win-win situation, and they don't have any opposition party to rival against because they are in charge now. And another thing that I want to broach is that, remember I was saying about how he promised an election next year?
Mm-hmm.
It's not happening anymore.
It's not happening?
Yeah.
Why is that so not happening?
He actually said that now that he is installed as the new prime minister, he is going to rule out any elections, and he is calling off the October 2015 elections along with that.
By the way, the name of the new prime minister of Thailand is General Prayut Chan-o-cha. I like that name.
Yeah, that's him.
That's a very interesting name.
And the current assembly is 197 people, and he's backed by this assembly, which, but they did have 3 abstentions and 3 voters absent. But even then, to elect a prime minister just like that without the consent of the people, without passing out any memorandum to ask the people, what you guys think about this, because in the end it goes back to the people. The government is always about the people, and it's not right to ignore the people's voice and just go on and make your own decisions like that.
It's very interesting because Thailand has always been, I would say, having military coup once a while ever since the early 20th century, in 1950s and in the 1990s and so forth. But this is the first time actually the army did something different from the past. In the past, the army would be having a coup, and then afterwards it will somehow restore back democracy. But this time the army probably fed up with the way democracy is being handled by political parties of both camps, I think what he's doing right now is to say, hey, I'm going to be prime minister. Eat that.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said he's just fed up of the squabbles that's been happening, especially with the ousting of Thaksin, and then his sister Yingluck was also facing some political scandal, and they couldn't decide on who to nominate. So I guess he just stepped in and decided to take charge and said, you know what, just forget all this drama. Like you said, it's just gonna be me now, and it's easier that way.
And
But
one aspect that I think what makes his nomination or his ascent to prime ministership possible is also because of the king. So King Bhumipol Adulyadej, who is 86 and ailing, has endorsed the junta and is expected to formally approve General Prayuth's selection as prime minister.
And this is a very unique situation, and Thailand is probably going to take a while to, for lack of a better word, recover from this. And in their quest to head for democracy, it's probably going to take a little more longer than expected.
In fact, as reported by the New York Times, one of the revered professors in Thailand, Professor Thong Chai, he predicted that ultimately the generals will be unable to manage Thailand because he said paternalistic dictatorship won't work anymore and the society is too complex. I think I would agree with that. I think a lot of the young Thai that I met on the street, as well as when I visit my friends there, I can see that they do not have any positive thought on having a junta as the prime minister. I mean, they see their neighbors, Myanmar, going through a lot of hellish experiences in order for them to restore democracy. Although now it's becoming more and more possible for people of Myanmar to go back to democracy like what they used to have in the past.
I'm glad that you brought that up because apart from New York Times, they have also been receiving a massive amount of pressure from the United States and the European Union. And these two entities are strongly urging the General Prayut Chan-o-cha to return to democracy, and they do not want him to be leading the country because, once you're in power, I think it's very difficult for you to want to step down and pass it over to someone else, especially he's definitely not going to do it within a year of being elected as the new prime minister.
Next news is about the US government. So the government itself is facing high bar charging cops in Ferguson death. In the US right now, there's some sort of changes happening, and it is because of the income inequality. And I was reading this one news about how the people in Ferguson, which are majority black communities, and they used to be a middle class society there, but then they have become much more poorer than now, and it's all because of the high inequality gap that is happening in the US right now, the growing.
And this also came in the light of the shooting of a black teenager named Michael Brown. And there's been a huge outcry. I think this probably happened like a month ago when I read about the shooting of this kid. And there was, of course, a massive protest from the black community there. They were holding placards. They were even going to the extent of having a riot. And I remember listening to
they already had a riot.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, I remember President Barack Obama was trying to calm them down, saying that he's going to do something about it and that he's going to investigate the matter and make sure that justice is served. And it seems that they are still facing an uphill battle here in terms of trying to get justice for this boy.
It's interesting because in terms of the police forces in the United States, it seems to be predominantly white, while that probably has caused a divide in terms of racial imbalances when it comes to the society, as well as the enforcers trying to maintain the security and safety of the area.
And they're also trying to call for the arrest of Officer Darren Wilson, and that was supposed to happen in August 9, and defenders of that white officer said he acted lawfully to defend himself during a confrontation with Brown, but he has not been arrested yet.
Just to show why race has become the reason of this conflict is because, for example, in 2000, the town's population was roughly split between the blacks and the whites of 5%, but now it has become 13% gap of which means 2/3 of blacks unemployed. And because of this inequality gap, the blacks are saying that, hey, the white is the privileged one, while the black is the one that is being suppressed by the system and the government of the US. I think that's one of the reasons why there's a huge riot happening right now at Ferguson.
Yes, it's always difficult when you're in the minority fighting for your rights as well. I think that's all the time that we have for this morning.
Don't forget to like us on Facebook and comment and share your thoughts with us. What kind of topic that you love for us to share and discuss. And also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter.
And also subscribe to our YouTube channel where we upload our podcast every day. And we will be back in a bit with a very special tribute show to the MH17 and MH370 victims and the families that are affected.